The sun rose slowly over the vast, golden sands of Egypt, spilling light across the winding curves of the Nile. Tiny ripples moved lazily across the river's surface, each reflecting the soft orange of dawn. Along the banks, the villagers stirred gently. Fishermen untangled their nets, their hands moving in careful, repeated motions, almost meditative, while women drew water from clay jars, their movements slow and deliberate. The smell of wet mud mixed faintly with the scent of early morning flowers, barely noticeable in the quiet air. Children played with small clay figurines, stacking them, knocking them down, stacking them again, each action calm and repetitive, almost hypnotic. The flocks of ducks drifted silently, leaving little wakes behind them in the water, as if guiding the villagers to a life measured not in haste but in slow rhythm. In the distance, a small temple perched near the river's edge, its sandstone walls glowing warmly in the sunlight. Priests could be seen moving inside, their robes swishing lightly as they carried water and oils for rituals later in the day. Even from afar, one could sense the stillness of their lives, the quiet repetition of their duties, and the reverent care with which every small task was performed. Life in Egypt, in those early hours, was a delicate balance between water and sand, sunlight and shadow, motion and pause. Every step, every breath seemed intentional, as though time itself had slowed to match the rhythm of the Nile. Villagers worked, children played, and the temple awaited its morning rituals, all enveloped in a soft, drowsy quiet that promised the coming hours would be equally serene. Hey guys! Today, we're taking a serene journey through the sands of ancient Egypt, exploring the slow, peaceful art of mummification, from fragrant oils and linen wraps to golden sarcophagi and whispered chants. If you love history that gently lulls you into calm and curiosity, this video is perfect for you. So grab a cozy seat, relax, and give us your time as we wander through temples, tombs, and eternity itself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to join our quiet journey through history. As the morning advanced, the village along the Nile stirred with gentle, purposeful motion. Smoke curled lazily from small clay ovens where women prepared the day's bread, the aroma faint but comforting, mingling with the scent of the river and sun-warmed earth. Men carried baskets of reeds and clay, placing them carefully along the walls of their simple homes, each movement deliberate, almost ceremonial in its repetition. The chatter of villagers was soft, subdued, like a whispered song, and the clatter of tools against stone echoed in slow, rhythmic beats. Every sound seemed measured, never hurried, as if the village itself had adopted the patient, unhurried pace of the river. Children followed the adults, their tiny feet pressing into the sand, mimicking every gesture, sweeping, carrying, shaping clay, and learning the slow art of daily life, where time was not counted in minutes but in careful steps and repeated actions. Near the center of the village, a small market began to take shape. Stalls were set up with baskets of dates, figs, and freshly baked bread. A few men unpacked clay jars of oil, others stacked linen carefully for sale or trade. Every action was performed with meticulous care. The vendors spoke softly to one another, gestures long and slow, the kind of calm interaction that allowed them to finish their work without haste, savoring the quiet of the morning. The river continued its unhurried flow beside them, reflecting the brightening sky, reminding everyone that life here was measured in continuity rather than speed. Each villager moved through the day with serene purpose, a slow dance of labor, care, and attention, preparing themselves and their homes for the rituals and ceremonies that awaited later. And through it all, the sand, the Nile, and the distant temples stood in quiet harmony, a backdrop to the gentle rhythm of village life. As the sun climbed higher, the villagers' work continued at a measured pace, yet in the distance, the temples called with a quieter, more deliberate rhythm. The sandstone walls, warm and golden in the morning light, rose steadily from the desert sands, adorned with carvings that told stories of gods, kings, and the eternal Nile. Even from afar, the presence of the temple felt different, heavier, more silent, as though time itself slowed within its walls. Priests moved through the temple halls with careful, precise steps. Their hands carried vessels of water, oils, and incense, moving in small, repetitive motions. Each step, each gesture, seemed to flow like the river itself, gentle, unhurried, purposeful. Their chants were low, almost inaudible from the outside, a soft hum that wrapped around the stone pillars and lingered in the air. Occasionally, a scribe sat by the wall, tracing hieroglyphs onto papyrus with steady, slow strokes, documenting rituals that had repeated countless times over centuries. In the courtyards, servants swept the sands, arranging offerings of flowers, figs, and bread. The scent of incense mingled with the morning air, a quiet perfume that spoke of devotion, reverence, and timeless patience. Even the shadows seemed to linger longer here, stretching lazily across the floor, creating a sense of calm that seeped into every visitor, every passerby, every villager who dared to glance toward the temple gates. This was the rhythm of ancient Egypt, a life measured not by haste, but by the patient unfolding of each day, each ritual, each quiet interaction with the world. And here, in these tranquil temple halls, the seeds of mummification were sown, not yet in full ceremony, but in the careful, deliberate acts of care, attention, and preparation that would one day preserve the dead in silence, stillness, and eternity. The sun had fully risen, spilling its golden light across the desert, yet within the walls of the temple, the day moved at a much gentler pace. The sandstone glowed softly, warm but not harsh, and every shadow seemed deliberate, stretching and bending slowly along the carved walls. The temple was quiet, almost entirely untouched by the outside world. Even the wind appeared to slow as it passed through the open courtyards, brushing lightly against the stone and the incense smoke that spiraled lazily from small braziers. Inside, priests moved with meticulous care. Their robes swished softly against the stone floors as they carried bowls of water, fragrant oils, and fine powders. Every gesture was precise, measured, and repeated. One hand lifted a jar of oil, the other steadying the bowl beneath, a motion that might have lasted only a few seconds yet felt eternal in its stillness. Their eyes, calm and attentive, never wavered from their tasks, as though they understood that each action mattered, that every small, deliberate movement was part of a chain stretching across centuries. The temple walls themselves told stories, their hieroglyphs detailed and intricate, depicting kings, gods, and common folk alike. Light touched these carvings in different ways as the sun shifted, revealing tiny details that might have gone unnoticed if one hurried through. The stone figures of gods stood silently in niches, watching over the temple with serene, eternal faces, their presence felt more than seen. Every corner of the temple seemed to hold its own secret, a quiet story waiting for someone patient enough to notice. In the outer courtyard, offerings were laid on low stone tables. Bowls of bread, clusters of dates, and small jars of oil waited in perfect order, carefully placed according to ritual tradition. A faint fragrance of flowers mingled with the incense, creating a layered scent that was calming, almost soporific, filling the air with a gentle, hypnotic rhythm. Courtiers and minor priests moved slowly between the offerings, adjusting their positions, ensuring each item rested in the proper place, performing their duties with quiet dignity. Above all, there was a rhythm to the temple life, slow, deliberate, and repetitive. One could hear the gentle drip of water from a small stone fountain in the corner, the faint scrape of sandals across the stone floors, the whisper of robes brushing against each other. Even when a chant was raised, it was soft, measured, almost like a lullaby, repeating in cycles that stretched long into the day. There were no sudden movements, no loud sounds, only the continuity of careful attention and patient devotion. For visitors, this quiet was not just calming, it was almost transformative. The outside world, with its shifting sands, its bustling villages, seemed to slow as soon as one entered. Breathing became measured, steps careful, thoughts lingering longer on small details, the curve of a hieroglyph, the way incense smoke twisted in sunlight, the gentle tilt of a priest's head as he watched over his sacred duties. It was a place where time itself felt suspended, where every motion was significant, and every still moment held a hidden depth. And amid this calm, the earliest hints of mummification unfolded. Though the rituals had not yet begun in earnest, the temple was already a space of preparation, a place where oils were tested, linens were kept ready, and the chants that would accompany the process were practiced softly, over and over. Here, the sacred craft of preserving life after death began, not in haste, but in serene, methodical, and patient repetition. The temple, in all its quiet glory, seemed almost alive, a breathing, meditative space. Sunlight, stone, incense, and slow human motion blended into a single rhythm, wrapping around each visitor, each priest, and each offering. It was a world apart, a place where silence spoke louder than words, and where every small, deliberate action carried the weight of eternity. The temple remained quiet, yet the sense of anticipation was subtle, woven into every careful movement of the priests. In the inner halls, long tables were arranged with meticulous care, each surface scrubbed and polished until it caught the light in a soft, warm glow. Small jars of fragrant oils, myrrh, cedar, and frankincense, were placed with deliberate spacing, each labeled with precise hieroglyphs. Linen of varying textures and thicknesses was carefully folded, stacked neatly, ready for the rituals that would begin later in the day. The priests moved slowly, deliberately, their hands gliding over surfaces with gentle motions, as though even the smallest disturbance could disrupt the sacred calm. One priest carefully poured oil into a shallow bowl, watching the liquid shimmer in the morning light. Another tested the incense, burning a small piece and observing the smoke as it spiraled upward in delicate, twisting patterns. Each motion was repeated with quiet precision, almost ritualistic in itself, as if the act of preparation was as sacred as the ceremony it preceded. From the corner of the hall, a scribe traced the steps of previous ceremonies on papyrus, copying symbols, noting scents, and recording even the smallest details of placement. His hand moved steadily, carefully, pausing at times to consider the exact curvature of a hieroglyph, the way sunlight hit the parchment. Every stroke of ink added to the slow rhythm of the temple, blending with the whisper of robes and the faint scent of oils to create an atmosphere of patient attention. Outside, in the courtyard, more preparations continued. Small tables of offerings were arranged in geometric patterns, bowls of dates, figs, and bread, carefully spaced and aligned. Tiny clay figurines representing servants and animals were positioned with deliberate care, ensuring they faced the proper direction for the ceremonies to come. The air was filled with the subtle fragrance of flowers and incense, a gentle mixture that seemed to soften the edges of the stone walls, making the entire space feel suspended in time. The quiet chanting of priests began softly, almost imperceptibly at first. A single voice hummed a low, steady note, followed by another, then another, weaving a gentle pattern that drifted through the temple halls. The chants were slow, rhythmic, and repetitive, intended to soothe both the participants and the space itself. Even the smallest sound seemed to echo longer than expected, bouncing off the carved walls and settling into the stone floors, the air, and the minds of those present. This careful preparation was more than physical, it was a mental and spiritual readiness. The temple was being transformed into a space of sacred stillness, each priest, each scribe, each servant contributing to the creation of a calm and measured environment. Every gesture, a sweep of the floor, a brush of incense smoke, a careful placement of oil, carried weight and significance. And though the ceremony of mummification had not yet begun, the foundation for it was being laid in these slow, deliberate acts of care and devotion. Here, in the inner chambers of the temple, time felt suspended. The flow of the Nile outside continued unnoticed, the sun traced its path across the sky, but inside the temple, every action, every sound, every breath was measured, purposeful, and unhurried. The rhythm of preparation was itself a form of meditation, a way to align body, mind, and spirit with the sacred task that awaited, and to honor the eternal calm that would one day envelop the departed. By mid-morning, the temple had settled into a profound stillness, broken only by the soft rustle of robes and the gentle drip of water from a small stone basin. The priests, having completed their meticulous preparations, now moved closer to the sacred task that would transform life into eternity. In the inner chamber, a small platform awaited, draped with linen, smooth and clean, inviting a quiet reverence. A single priest approached, carrying a shallow bowl of fragrant oil. He lifted it slowly, pouring a gentle stream over his hands before touching the first cloth on the platform. The scent of myrrh and cedar filled the air, subtle and calming, creating a quiet layer over the warm stone and soft sunlight filtering in from the high windows. Every motion was deliberate, measured, and repeated, as though time itself had slowed to match the rhythm of the temple. Other priests moved with similar care, each performing their small part of the preparation. One sprinkled fine sands over the platform, leveling them with a flat wooden tool, the grains shifting in soft, satisfying whispers. Another adjusted the linen, folding and smoothing it again and again, ensuring that every crease and layer was perfectly aligned. The repetition was slow and almost hypnotic, allowing the space, the priests, and anyone observing to sink deeper into calm awareness. Outside, faint chanting began again, low and steady, weaving in and out of the inner chambers. The sounds were not loud or urgent, they drifted like soft waves, each note lingering just a moment longer than expected. The priests matched their motions to the rhythm of these chants, moving their hands, arms, and shoulders in sync with the gentle vibrations of the sacred songs. Even the smallest gestures, dipping fingers into oil, touching the linen, carried a sacred weight, as if the universe itself paused to watch and listen. The preparation of the sacred platform was more than a physical act, it was a meditation in motion. Every priest, every scribe, every assistant understood that they were participating in a process that transcended the ordinary. Each movement, no matter how small, was part of a larger pattern, a ritual that had been performed countless times over generations, each repetition grounding the living in the rhythm of eternity. And in this careful stillness, the first hints of mummification unfolded. Not yet in full ceremony, but in the quiet alignment of materials, the attentive arrangement of oils and linen, and the patient, deliberate chanting, the temple became a space where the boundary between life and eternity felt thin, gentle, and respectful. Here, the body's journey into stillness was honored before it even began, and those who participated could feel the calm inevitability of the passage, the quiet reverence of time slowed to its softest heartbeat. The chamber, filled with warm sunlight, gentle smoke, and quiet chants, seemed almost suspended in time. Every small act, every soft sound, every careful touch added to the sense that life, when attended with patience and devotion, could become eternal. The temple was not just a building of stone and scent, it was a living meditation, a quiet reminder that in ancient Egypt, even the first steps of mummification were as much about patience, care, and serenity as they were about preserving the body. The morning sun had climbed high over the Nile, but within the temple's inner chamber, time moved slowly, as if it were measured by intention rather than hours. In the quietest corner, a small basin of water had been prepared, its surface calm and reflecting the soft light that filtered through high, latticed windows. This water, drawn from the river and purified with reeds and oils, was the first step in the sacred journey, the gentle cleansing of the body, the symbolic washing away of the mortal world. A single priest knelt beside the basin, his hands hovering over the surface before dipping slowly, letting the water trickle over his palms. He lifted the vessel carefully, tilting it just enough for the first soft stream to fall upon the prepared linens, and then, ever so gently, over the body. The motion was repeated, measured, with pauses long enough to feel the rhythm of the river outside mirrored in the slow cascade of water. Every drop, every ripple, seemed to linger longer than ordinary, holding a quiet significance that few could fully grasp. Other priests moved with similar deliberate care, their gestures unhurried, precise, almost meditative. One brushed the surface of the body with a soft cloth, smoothing it in long, gentle strokes, repeating each motion until the cloth became an extension of the hand itself. Another anointed the skin with fragrant oils, cedar, myrrh, and frankincense, each applied slowly, layer by layer, the scent curling in soft clouds around the chamber. The combined fragrances and gentle motions created a serene haze, a sensory lullaby for both the living and the departing. Outside the chamber, faint chanting echoed through the temple halls, slow and rhythmic, like waves lapping the riverbank. The priests synchronized their movements to the chant, their hands dipping, pouring, and smoothing in time with the soft hum. Every gesture was repeated with careful attention, almost as if by repeating it endlessly, they could weave eternity itself into the ritual. The body, silent and still, was enveloped in this rhythm, its presence transformed from mortal to sacred before any linen was laid or oils applied in full ceremony. The basin water, once clear, became faintly tinged with the reflection of incense smoke and the shimmering oils, a subtle mirror of the transformation underway. Every small movement, the tilt of a jar, the careful wiping of a hand, the gentle pat of linen, was a step in the first stage of preserving life beyond life. The temple itself seemed to hold its breath, the sunlight stretching lazily across the walls, highlighting the delicate carvings of gods and mortals who had long ago passed through the same rituals. This process of washing was not rushed, for time itself was measured differently here. The priests understood that haste could disturb the harmony of the ceremony, that patience was sacred. Each movement, each breath, each subtle sound of water or cloth contributed to a growing stillness, a calm that would carry the departed gently toward eternity. The chamber became a sanctuary not only for the body but for the minds and hearts of those performing the ritual, enveloping everyone in an unbroken sequence of quiet, deliberate care. As the washing concluded, the first layer of sacred oils had been applied, the body's surface soft and fragrant, and the temple filled with the quiet hum of devotion. Here, in this unhurried, meticulous space, the living and the dead touched eternity together. Every action, no matter how small, became part of a continuum of ritual and reverence, a meditation in motion, a step toward preservation that would extend far beyond the confines of the temple walls. After the body had been gently washed and anointed with fragrant oils, the temple settled into an even deeper stillness. The priests moved slowly, their motions deliberate and unhurried, as if every second mattered not for speed but for perfection. A large basin of natron, the natural salt used to dry and preserve, had been carefully measured and set aside. The fine, crystalline powder glimmered faintly in the soft sunlight, each granule waiting to perform its quiet, essential work. One priest began by patting the body dry with soft linen cloths, pressing carefully to absorb both water and excess oil. Each stroke was slow and repetitive, the cloth gliding over the skin in long, continuous movements. Another priest sprinkled natron gently, covering the body with a thin, even layer, brushing and smoothing the powder until every curve and contour was attended to. The motion was repeated over and over, methodical, hypnotic, a dance of hands and particles that spoke of both devotion and patience. The removal of organs was performed with equal care, though the priests moved even more deliberately here. With small, specialized tools, they worked in near silence, extracting each organ with precision and placing it into carefully prepared canopic jars. Each jar, painted with the face of a protective deity, was positioned in the proper order, lined up on low stone shelves within the chamber. Every motion, from patting to sprinkling to placement, was repeated slowly, as if in meditation. Hands moved with absolute awareness, touching lightly, never hurried, always attentive. The temple seemed to breathe in tandem with their motions, the faint echo of their robes brushing against the stone floor, the soft scraping of natron across the body, the subtle murmur of incense drifting through the hall, all blending into a singular, serene rhythm. The scribe remained nearby, documenting each step with careful strokes of ink on papyrus. Hieroglyphs recorded the sequence of preparation, the type of natron, the order of organ placement, and the prayers whispered over the body. Each mark was precise, deliberate, contributing to the slow, sacred unfolding of the ritual. Even writing, in this space, became an act of meditation, the hand moving in perfect synchronization with the temple's overall pace. As the body rested under layers of natron, the priests took turns checking and smoothing, ensuring that every detail met the sacred standards handed down over generations. The ritual was not hurried, haste was considered a disturbance to the eternal calm the ceremony sought to create. Instead, patience and repetition guided every action, reinforcing the temple's solemn tranquility and the sanctity of the work being performed. By the end of this stage, the body was carefully prepared, the organs safely preserved, and the first layer of eternal protection in place. The chamber, filled with muted sunlight, fragrant oils, and the soft hum of chants, became a cocoon of stillness. Life outside the temple continued, yet inside, time seemed suspended, allowing the priests and the body itself to dwell in a quiet space between the living and the eternal. With the body now washed, anointed, and gently dried with natron, the temple seemed to settle into a deeper hush. The soft morning light filtered through the latticed windows, casting slow-moving patterns across the stone floor, and the faint scent of oils and incense created a serene haze that filled every corner. The priests prepared the linens, long, smooth strips, carefully measured and folded, each one destined to envelop the body in a cocoon of calm and preservation. The first strip of linen was lifted with reverent care. A priest held it over the body, letting it flutter briefly before settling it down in perfect alignment. The motion was slow, deliberate, repeated several times to ensure precision, the cloth smoothing naturally over the body's contours. Another priest followed, wrapping additional layers with steady, deliberate movements, each fold overlapping the last with rhythmic repetition. Every motion was mirrored by soft chanting, a low hum that seemed to resonate not only through the chamber but within the hearts of those performing the ritual. As more layers of linen were added, the scent of fragrant oils persisted, clinging lightly to the fabric. The priests worked together in near silence, coordinating their gestures with subtle glances and small nods. Each layer was smoothed and tucked carefully, ensuring that the body was neither rushed nor disturbed. The repetition itself became soothing, each movement a meditation, each fold a prayer expressed without words. Small amulets, carved from stone and painted with intricate detail, were placed between layers at specific points along the body. A scarab here, a protective eye there, each positioned slowly, with attentive care, to guard the departed in the journey ahead. The priests paused often, adjusting folds, checking alignment, whispering brief prayers that were more hum than spoken words. The chamber seemed to echo with the soft, rhythmic pulse of their devotion. Outside, the faint light of the sun traced slow paths across the temple walls, highlighting hieroglyphs that had recorded similar ceremonies for generations. Each image seemed to mirror the care and precision being performed within the chamber, reinforcing the timeless continuity of the ritual. The slow wrapping of linen was more than preservation, it was a way of honoring life, of creating stillness, and of acknowledging the delicate threshold between the living and the eternal. The repetition of motion, the gentle layering of linen, the soft hum of prayers, all created a hypnotic rhythm. Time itself felt suspended, moments stretched longer than ordinary, allowing everyone present to feel the sacred weight of their actions. Even the body, though silent and still, seemed to inhabit this rhythm, embraced not only by linen but by the calm, deliberate attention of those who guided it toward eternity. By the end of the chapter, the body rested fully wrapped, each layer of linen aligned, smoothed, and infused with oils and prayers. The amulets were in place, the room filled with the scent of incense, and the quiet chanting had woven a soft, continuous hum through the chamber. In this moment, the first stage of mummification, washing, drying, and wrapping, had been completed with perfect patience. The temple, with its stone walls, filtered sunlight, and slow-moving priests, stood as a sanctuary of calm, a bridge between life and eternity, and a meditation on the gentle art of preserving memory in stillness. The temple chamber, now filled with the quiet stillness of wrapped bodies, seemed to breathe in time with the soft, deliberate motions of the priests. Sunlight filtered through high latticed windows, glinting off the smooth surfaces of small clay jars, each containing a fragrant oil or resin, each labeled carefully with hieroglyphs describing its use. The air carried a gentle, layered perfume, cedar, myrrh, frankincense, subtle and soothing, wrapping itself around every stone, every piece of linen, and every whispering priest. One priest lifted a shallow jar of cedar oil, tilting it slightly so a thin stream poured onto his palms. He spread the oil gently over the wrapped body, smoothing it with slow, continuous motions. Each movement was repeated several times, deliberate and precise, ensuring that every layer of linen absorbed the scent, imbuing the body with fragrance and preservation. Another priest followed with a small brush, applying powdered resins in delicate patterns, each stroke slow and meditative, the powder glinting faintly in the warm sunlight. The fragrances combined in the air, forming a soft haze that seemed to slow the very pace of the temple. Incense burned faintly nearby, adding another layer of scent that intertwined with oils and resins, creating an invisible cocoon of calm. The priests moved in a quiet rhythm, synchronized with one another and with the gentle hum of distant chants, each gesture measured, repeated, almost hypnotic in its careful repetition. Even the preparation of the oils was a ritual in itself. Jars were opened slowly, lids lifted with precise attention, and the oil poured with care into bowls of just the right size. Each bowl was carried carefully to the body, the palms holding it steadily to avoid spilling a single drop. Every motion emphasized patience, the careful balance between speed and reverence, ensuring that no detail was overlooked in this sacred work. Some priests applied fragrant resins to specific areas of the linen, smoothing them gently with soft fingers. The resins shimmered faintly, catching light as they were massaged into the cloth, a subtle shimmer that mirrored the golden sunlight filtering through the windows. The process was slow, repetitive, and hypnotic, designed not only to preserve but to sanctify, to transform the wrapped body into a vessel of calm, timeless fragrance. Outside, the temple remained quiet, as if holding its breath in reverence for the ritual unfolding inside. The faint rippling of the Nile could be heard through distant doorways, a soft accompaniment to the muted sounds of careful brushing, pouring, and smoothing. The combination of scents, motions, and quiet chanting created a space suspended between worlds, a bridge between life, death, and the eternity beyond. The temple had grown even quieter as the morning progressed, the golden sunlight now angled, highlighting the soft dust motes drifting lazily through the air. The bodies, already wrapped in linen, rested on raised platforms, and the priests moved around them with a rhythm that seemed almost independent of ordinary time. In their hands were bowls of oils, brushes, and small containers of fragrant resins, each chosen carefully for its role in preserving the body and sanctifying its journey toward eternity. One priest began with a slow, deliberate motion, pouring a thin stream of cedar oil onto his palm and spreading it over the linen. His movements were rhythmic, smooth, repeated multiple times to ensure every fold absorbed the fragrance. Another priest followed, brushing powdered myrrh over the top layer in soft, circular motions. The powder caught the light subtly, giving the linen a faint shimmer as it absorbed the sacred scent. Each stroke was gentle, unhurried, and precise, the repetition itself a meditative act. The layering of scents was performed in a deliberate sequence. Cedar first, then myrrh, followed by frankincense and small amounts of other fragrant resins. Each priest moved slowly, almost imperceptibly, their hands gliding over the linen with careful attention. Between each layer, they paused, allowing the oils and powders to settle, to absorb fully, ensuring that no detail was missed. The repetition created a rhythm that filled the chamber, a quiet heartbeat of ritual, soft and persistent. Incense burned softly in small braziers placed around the room, the smoke curling lazily in slow spirals toward the latticed windows. Its aroma intertwined with the oils and resins, creating a layered, hypnotic fragrance that seemed to slow the movement of air itself. Even the walls, carved with hieroglyphs of gods, pharaohs, and past ceremonies, appeared to lean in, absorbing and reflecting the scent and the calm motions of the priests. Every small gesture was significant. The tilt of a bowl, the gentle spread of oil, the careful brushing of resin, all were repeated, each time slightly different, yet perfectly in harmony with the last. The priest's eyes followed their motions intently, their breaths slow and measured, their hands synchronized with the soft, ongoing chants that drifted from the inner sanctum. The entire chamber vibrated with a subtle, meditative energy, a quiet reverence for the sacred process unfolding within it. By the end of this chapter, the bodies rested fully layered in linen and saturated with the fragrances of eternity. Cedar, myrrh, frankincense, and other resins blended into a calm haze that enveloped the chamber, a physical and spiritual cocoon. The temple felt suspended in time, every movement slow, every scent deliberate, every sound, the brush of linen, the pour of oil, the soft hum of chants, contributing to a continuous meditation on preservation, care, and patient devotion. As the afternoon sun shifted, casting a softer glow through the temple's high windows, the chamber remained steeped in quiet reverence. The wrapped bodies lay on their platforms, each layer of linen infused with cedar, myrrh, and frankincense. The priests moved with the slow precision of dancers in a sacred ritual, their hands gliding over the linen in gentle, repeated motions, ensuring that the final layer of oils and resins was applied evenly and with care. A senior priest approached the central platform, carrying a shallow bowl of blended oils. He tilted it just slightly, allowing a thin, controlled stream to flow over the body, then smoothed it gently with his hands. Each movement was repeated, slow and deliberate, the rhythm almost hypnotic. Another priest followed with small brushes, softly massaging resins into the linen, their subtle shimmer catching the dim sunlight, creating a sense of quiet luminescence within the chamber. The scent of the oils and resins thickened the air, layering with the delicate aroma of incense from nearby braziers. Cedar, frankincense, myrrh, and other fragrant compounds mingled together in a calm, hypnotic harmony, filling every corner of the temple. The effect was almost tangible, as if the air itself had been transformed into a soothing balm, wrapping the bodies, the priests, and even the stone walls in a gentle, fragrant embrace. Alongside the physical application, the priests began the soft, whispered blessings. Their voices were low, rhythmic, and measured, each word a careful incantation, repeating phrases learned over generations. The blessings flowed slowly over the bodies, over the oils, over the linens, infusing the entire space with a quiet energy that resonated with the temple itself. Each repetition seemed to echo longer than before, the soft vibrations mingling with the layered fragrances to create a meditative cocoon of calm. Small amulets, scarabs, and protective symbols were placed once more between layers, as if to seal the blessings within the linen. The priests paused frequently, checking the alignment, smoothing the folds, ensuring that no detail was overlooked. Every motion, every whisper, every breath contributed to the rhythm of preparation, a silent dance of devotion, repetition, and serenity. Even the light seemed to participate in the ritual. As the sun shifted through the latticed windows, it illuminated the smooth lines of linen and the faint shimmer of resin, highlighting the care with which each layer had been applied. Shadows stretched slowly across the walls, almost in sync with the priest's movements, reinforcing the sense that time inside this sacred chamber flowed differently, slower, calmer, more intentional. By the end of the chapter, the bodies rested fully prepared for the next stage of mummification. Oils and resins had been layered carefully, every fold smoothed and blessed, and the chamber filled with the combined effects of fragrance, motion, and prayer. The temple was quiet now, the sun casting long, soft rays across the stone floor. The bodies lay fully anointed, fragrant with oils and resins, resting upon raised platforms. Around them, priests moved with deliberate calm, each gesture slow, purposeful, and unhurried. Their hands lifted lengths of fine linen, letting the soft fabric fall over the bodies like a gentle wave. The first strip was placed carefully, smoothed with rhythmic precision, and tucked in softly, as if to embrace the body in a delicate, protective cocoon. Another priest followed, folding and layering additional strips with meticulous care. Each fold was repeated several times, the motion slow enough to observe the gentle shift of the linen and ensure that every contour was honored. The soft rustle of fabric, the faint whisper of hands gliding over it, and the muted, steady hum of chants created a calm, hypnotic rhythm that filled the chamber. Even the stone walls seemed to absorb the quiet intensity of the work, reflecting the soft light and faint fragrance of oils back into the space. Small amulets, scarabs, and protective symbols were placed strategically between layers of linen. A scarab near the chest, a tiny painted figure beside the heart, a protective eye near the forehead, each positioned slowly, deliberately, with soft, repeated gestures. Every placement was accompanied by a whispered prayer, barely audible, each word drawn out, elongated, letting the sound linger in the sacred air. The priest's motions became almost meditative, each repetition drawing them and the space deeper into calm focus. The rhythm of rapping was intertwined with the rhythm of chanting. Soft, low tones rose and fell in harmony with the priest's hands, echoing gently against the carved walls. The words were ancient, carefully enunciated, repeated over and over in a continuous loop that seemed to stretch time itself. Each chant blended seamlessly with the soft scent of oils and resins, the shimmer of linen, and the flickering patterns of sunlight, creating an atmosphere of serene suspension. Even the smallest details were attended to with deliberate care. The ends of each linen strip were folded gently under the body, smoothed with soft strokes, and checked again and again for alignment. No gesture was hurried, no movement was wasted. The repetition of each action became hypnotic, each layer of linen a physical manifestation of patient devotion. Every amulet, every fold, every whispered word added to the continuous rhythm of preparation, a quiet orchestration of care and attention. Outside, the Nile flowed silently, its soft murmur echoing faintly through distant doorways, adding another layer to the temple's rhythm. Within the chamber, the layered fragrance of cedar, myrrh, and frankincense mingled with the soft rustle of linen, the muted scraping of brushes, and the slow, repetitive hum of chants. The temple had settled into a deeper calm, the sunlight now softer, slanting across the stone floors and walls carved with ancient hieroglyphs. The bodies, already partially wrapped, lay like still statues upon their platforms. Priests moved around them with deliberate care, lifting additional lengths of fine linen, smoothing them over the previous layers with gentle, repeated motions. Each fold was precise, slow, and meditative, ensuring that every contour of the body was carefully enclosed in a soft, protective embrace. Amulets and small protective charms were placed methodically between the layers. Scarabs near the chest, tiny painted figures along the arms, protective eyes over the forehead, each positioned deliberately, with hands moving slowly to avoid disturbing the layers beneath. Every placement was accompanied by a whispered chant, extended and elongated, allowing the sound to linger and merge with the faint scent of oils and resins in the air. The combination of sound, touch, and fragrance created a gentle rhythm, a hypnotic heartbeat that seemed to pulse through the temple. The priests repeated each movement multiple times, folding, smoothing, and tucking the linen with unwavering attention. The repetition itself became a kind of meditation, a deliberate slowing of time. The rustle of fabric, the soft brush of fingers, and the faint hum of the continuous chants blended together to form an unbroken rhythm. Every small gesture contributed to the serenity of the space, each action a step deeper into calm focus and sacred devotion. Even the layering of the linen was deliberate. Thinner strips were wrapped first, conforming closely to the body, followed by wider, sturdier layers that added structure and strength. Each layer was smoothed meticulously, small air pockets removed, folds aligned precisely. Between each wrapping, the priests paused, allowing themselves to feel the quiet rhythm of their motions and the subtle echo of chants bouncing softly off the walls. The air was thick with the layered fragrance of cedar, myrrh, frankincense, and other resins. The gentle curl of incense smoke intertwined with the rhythmic motion of hands, the placement of amulets, and the ongoing, low-pitched chants. Together, these elements created a hypnotic environment, where every sense, sight, smell, sound, touch, contributed to a deep, meditative calm. The temple itself seemed to respond, the stone walls absorbing the rhythm of motion and sound, reflecting it back in quiet echoes. Time inside this chamber stretched and slowed, allowing the priests to move with patience and precision. Even the smallest action, a fold of linen, a tiny placement of a charm, a careful smoothing, became meaningful, a part of the larger meditation on life, death, and eternity. As the afternoon sun dipped lower, the temple's inner chamber glowed with a gentle golden hue. The bodies, already layered in fine linen and adorned with protective amulets, rested upon their raised platforms. Priests moved with deliberate slowness, performing the final touches of the wrapping ritual. Every fold, every tuck, every placement of an amulet was measured, repeated, and observed, ensuring nothing was left unfinished. A senior priest approached the central platform carrying a small bowl of perfumed oils. Tilting it slightly, he allowed a thin stream to flow over the final layers of linen, smoothing it gently with his palms. Each stroke was slow, repeated carefully, as though time itself had slowed to match the rhythm of the ritual. The oils glimmered faintly in the soft sunlight, blending with the lingering fragrance of myrrh, frankincense, and cedar that filled the chamber. The priests then began the ceremonial prayers, whispered softly, each word extended and elongated. The cadence of their chants wove through the temple, mingling with the soft rustle of linen and the subtle hum of incense burning in small braziers. Every syllable resonated within the stone walls, creating a gentle vibration that seemed to suspend time. The prayers were a blessing for safe passage, a quiet invocation of protection, and a meditation on eternity itself. Small final touches were added to the wrapped bodies. Tiny amulets were inserted into the folds of linen, scarabs positioned with utmost care, and protective eyes placed where they would watch over the departed. The priest's hands moved with a rhythm that was almost hypnotic, folding, tucking, smoothing, and adjusting repeatedly until each layer, each charm, and each prayer was perfectly in place. The repetition of motion, combined with the lingering fragrances and chants, created a serene, meditative atmosphere. Even the sunlight seemed to participate, shifting slowly through latticed windows, illuminating folds of linen and glinting faintly off the polished surfaces of amulets. The chamber, heavy with the scent of oils and resins, echoed softly with the low chants, the subtle brush of linen, and the measured steps of priests moving with reverent precision. Time felt suspended, each moment stretching longer than ordinary, allowing the ritual to unfold with patient care and quiet devotion. The temple's inner chambers had grown even quieter as evening approached, the sunlight fading into soft, golden shadows that stretched across the stone floors. The bodies, now fully wrapped and scented, lay upon raised platforms, their linen layers smooth and protective amulets in place. Priests moved slowly around them, preparing for the next stage, the careful passage to the tombs, a journey measured not in haste, but in reverence. Wooden sleds, polished and lined with soft cloth, were brought forward. The priests lifted each body with deliberate care, supporting it from beneath, ensuring that every movement was slow, balanced, and uninterrupted. The slight creak of the wood on the stone floor blended with the muted rustle of robes, the faint whisper of incense smoke curling upward, and the low hum of prayers murmured with every step. The motion was rhythmic, each shift of weight, each careful placement, a meditation in itself. Along the narrow corridors, hieroglyphs watched silently, carved faces of gods and pharaohs witnessing centuries of similar rituals. The priests paused often, adjusting the sleds, smoothing the linen, and whispering blessings over the bodies. Even the smallest action, a hand adjusting an amulet, a careful tilt of the sled, was repeated with meticulous precision, contributing to the hypnotic rhythm of the procession. At the tomb entrance, stone doors stood heavy and imposing, inscribed with protective spells and symbols. The priests carried the bodies gently inside, placing each upon a carved stone sarcophagus, cushioned with layers of linen and soft fragrant oils. The sarcophagi, painted with scenes of the afterlife and guardianship, seemed to glow faintly in the soft torchlight. Every placement was deliberate, every gesture, repeated. The chamber echoed only with the muted chants, the soft shifting of cloth, and the subtle fragrance of incense and oils mingling with the cool stone air. Once a body was settled within the sarcophagus, priests carefully adjusted the linen and amulets once more, ensuring that every fold, every charm, every layer of blessing was precisely in place. The rhythm of motion and sound continued, slow and deliberate, each repetition reinforcing the sacred calm of the chamber. The soft hum of prayers mingled with the faint rustle of robes and the subtle scent of resins, creating an atmosphere of serenity that seemed almost tangible. Even the stone walls, carved with protective hieroglyphs and images of deities, reflected the careful attention of the priests. Light flickered across the sarcophagus, glinting off amulets, and shadows shifted gently in the flickering torchlight. The chamber became a cocoon of stillness, where the living honored the departed with patient devotion, repetition, and careful ceremonial care. The tomb chamber was quiet, filled only with the soft flicker of torchlight and the faint curl of incense smoke. The bodies, carried carefully on sleds, now rested upon stone sarcophagi carved with protective images and hieroglyphs. Priests moved slowly around each sarcophagus, adjusting the linen folds, checking amulet placement, and ensuring that every detail aligned perfectly with sacred tradition. Every gesture was deliberate, repeated with precision, creating a gentle, hypnotic rhythm that filled the room. Small amulets, scarabs, protective eyes, and tiny painted figures were placed at specific points along the body. Hands moved slowly, fingers brushing lightly over the linen, smoothing it and tucking the charms securely into place. Each placement was accompanied by a soft, whispered prayer, elongated and measured, letting the sound linger in the cool, still air. The rhythm of placement and prayer became a continuous meditation, each repetition deepening the quiet reverence of the chamber. The priests checked the alignment of the bodies within the sarcophagi, gently shifting them until each rested perfectly, head slightly elevated, arms positioned with care, and feet aligned. Every motion was slow, methodical, ensuring that the sacred order was preserved. Between each adjustment, they paused, allowing the quiet hum of chants, the subtle aroma of oils and incense, and the flickering torchlight to merge into a serene, hypnotic calm. Incense burned steadily, its smoke curling upward in thin, elegant spirals. The fragrances of cedar, myrrh, and frankincense mingled with the faint scent of resins lingering from earlier rituals. The combined aroma, together with the soft rustle of linen and the gentle cadence of prayers, created an atmosphere of meditative stillness. Time itself seemed to stretch, each moment lingering, allowing the priests to move with patient precision. The soft chants rose and fell in a slow, deliberate rhythm. Words of protection, guidance, and eternal rest flowed over the bodies, over the sarcophagi, and throughout the chamber. The repetition of the prayers, combined with careful placement of amulets and meticulous arrangement of the bodies, created a continuous, hypnotic pattern, a rhythm that merged motion, sound, and scent into a single, serene experience. The tomb chamber was filled with a deep, sacred stillness. The bodies rested within stone sarcophagi, fully wrapped, scented with oils, and adorned with protective amulets. Priests moved with deliberate calm, circling the sarcophagi slowly, hands lightly brushing over the linen and touching the amulets, ensuring that every detail reflected the reverence of the ritual. Each movement was repeated, soft and unhurried, creating a meditative rhythm that seemed to stretch time itself. A senior priest approached the central sarcophagus carrying a small bowl of perfumed oils. He tilted it gently, letting a thin, controlled stream flow over the top of the linen. His hands smoothed the fabric slowly, repeated in careful strokes, ensuring that the final layer absorbed the fragrance completely. The oils shimmered faintly in the torchlight, blending with the lingering scents of cedar, myrrh, frankincense, and resins, creating a subtle, hypnotic haze throughout the chamber. Soft prayers began, whispered by the priests in slow, measured tones. Each word was extended, elongated, and allowed to resonate within the stone walls, forming a gentle hum that filled the chamber. These final blessings called for protection, guidance, and safe passage into eternity. Every syllable, repeated and drawn out, became part of the rhythm, mingling with the motion of hands smoothing linen and adjusting amulets, and with the curling incense smoke. The priests then carefully positioned the sarcophagus lids. Each lid was lowered slowly, aligned perfectly with the base, and adjusted with gentle hands to ensure a snug, respectful fit. The sound of stone against stone was soft, measured, absorbed into the quiet atmosphere of the chamber. Even this movement, though small, was repeated with attention and reverence, the deliberate rhythm reinforcing the sacred calm that filled the space. Once the lids were secured, the priests paused. Their hands rested lightly on the smooth stone surfaces, and the soft hum of prayers continued. The chamber seemed to breathe in unison with the ritual, the flicker of torchlight reflecting off amulets, the curling incense smoke rising lazily, and the subtle scent of oils and resins enveloping everything. Every detail, every fold of linen, every amulet, every whispered word, contributed to the slow, hypnotic cadence of devotion. Even in silence, the temple seemed alive with gentle energy. The faint shadows cast by torchlight moved slowly across the walls, hieroglyphs seeming to watch over the resting dead. The chamber had become a sanctuary of meditation, where motion, sound, scent, and light blended seamlessly to create an atmosphere of calm and reverence. Time felt suspended, allowing the priests, the sarcophagi, and even the air itself to dwell in quiet contemplation of eternity. The tomb chamber was cloaked in a serene stillness, broken only by the faint flicker of torchlight casting dancing shadows across the stone walls. The sarcophagi rested quietly, bodies fully wrapped, scented, and protected by amulets. The priests moved slowly, almost imperceptibly, their robes whispering against the stone floor as they prepared for the next stage of the ritual, the chanting, the meditative prayers that would weave sound into the eternal space. Each priest positioned himself carefully around the sarcophagi, kneeling or standing with gentle reverence. They inhaled deeply, the subtle fragrance of cedar, frankincense, and myrrh filling their senses, grounding them in the rhythm of the moment. Then, in soft, measured tones, the first words of the chants were uttered. Low and drawn out, the syllables stretched, allowing each sound to linger, echoing faintly against the carved stone hieroglyphs, creating a resonance that seemed to slow time itself. The chants were slow, repetitive, and hypnotic. Each line was repeated multiple times, soft echoes bouncing between the walls, filling the chamber with a continuous wave of sound. The voices blended seamlessly, creating a meditative harmony that intertwined with the gentle crackle of torches, the faint rustle of linen within the sarcophagi, and the subtle curl of incense smoke drifting through the room. Every sound became part of the sacred rhythm, a continuous meditation for both the living and the departed. Amid the chants, priests moved their hands in soft, deliberate gestures. Fingers traced patterns in the air above the sarcophagi, or lightly touched the linen and amulets, adding a silent rhythm to the vocal one. Every motion was slow, repeated with care, synchronized with the flowing cadence of the prayers. Even the smallest gestures, a tilt of the hand, a subtle adjustment of a charm, were performed in a deliberate, measured manner, contributing to the hypnotic calm of the chamber. The layering of sound and movement created a unique atmosphere. Each repeated phrase, each echo, merged with the lingering sense of oils and incense, forming an invisible tapestry of sensation. Time itself seemed to stretch, each moment elongated by the soft resonance of voice, the subtle shimmer of amulets, and the gentle movement of the priests. The chamber became a sanctuary suspended between the living and the eternal, a space where attention, patience, and devotion converged into a continuous rhythm. Even the stone walls seemed to participate, reflecting the chants and amplifying their soft resonance. The carved images of gods and protective symbols glowed faintly in torchlight, appearing to sway gently with the sound waves, as if the chamber itself was alive with the rhythm of prayer. The longer the chants continued, the more the chamber felt suspended, every motion and sound merging into a slow, hypnotic meditation. The tomb chamber had grown even quieter, the soft flicker of torchlight casting elongated shadows across the stone walls. The sarcophagi remained still, each body resting wrapped, scented, and protected, while the priests moved with unhurried reverence. Their voices, low and drawn out, began the slow repetition of ritual chants, each phrase extended, each syllable allowed to resonate fully, creating an almost tangible rhythm of sound that filled the chamber. The chants were gentle but continuous, overlapping in soft harmony. One priest would start a phrase, and another would follow a few moments later, the echoes weaving together in a seamless tapestry of sound. Each repetition was slightly different, a pause here, a drawn-out note there, subtle variations that gave life and depth to the slow, hypnotic rhythm. The effect was meditative, both for the priests and for the chamber itself, every vibration filling the air with quiet devotion. Hands moved slowly in time with the chants, brushing lightly over linen folds, adjusting amulets, or tracing soft patterns in the air above the sarcophagi. Each motion was repeated gently, deliberately, synchronized with the rhythm of the voices. Even the smallest gestures became part of the meditation, their repetition creating a calm continuity that seemed to stretch the perception of time. The incense smoke curled lazily through the chamber, mingling with the fragrances of cedar, myrrh, and frankincense from earlier rituals. The scent hung in the air, wrapping around the sound and motion, adding a sensory layer to the meditation. Every breath inhaled by the priests carried the layered fragrance, grounding them further in the slow, deliberate rhythm of their sacred work. The stone walls absorbed the repeated chants and echoed them softly, enhancing the hypnotic effect. The carved hieroglyphs and protective images seemed to shimmer in the flickering light, moving gently in time with the sound waves. Even the shadows of the priests shifted in harmony with the chants, stretching and flowing as though the chamber itself had joined the meditation. As the repetitions continued, time seemed suspended. The priests' voices, the curling smoke, the flickering light, and the subtle movements of hands all merged into a continuous, meditative rhythm. Each repetition, each subtle variation, reinforced the sacred calm, drawing both the living and the memory of the departed deeper into a tranquil, hypnotic state. The tomb chamber had settled into a profound stillness, the flickering torchlight casting soft, golden shadows over the stone walls and sarcophagi. The priests, kneeling and standing in reverent positions, continued their chants, each word drawn out, repeated, and allowed to resonate fully through the chamber. The rhythm of sound had become a slow, undulating wave, filling the air with quiet devotion, and guiding the energy of the space toward a gentle culmination. Every chant, every gesture, every movement of the hands became part of the sacred pattern. Fingers traced the air above the sarcophagi, lightly touching linen folds or adjusting amulets, each action synchronized with the soft cadence of the prayers. Even the smallest motions were deliberate, repeated with care, adding subtle layers to the hypnotic rhythm that enveloped the chamber. The repetition created a meditative resonance that seemed to stretch time itself, each moment lingering longer than the last. The incense smoke curled gently, weaving around the priests and sarcophagi, carrying the scents of cedar, myrrh, and frankincense. The fragrance combined with the soft resonance of chants to create a full, immersive sensory experience. The chamber seemed alive, yet profoundly still, a space suspended between the living and the eternal, where every breath, every movement, and every whispered word contributed to the meditation of the moment. As the ceremony approached its conclusion, the priest's chants slowed even further. Words were elongated, syllables stretched, and pauses held longer, allowing the echoes to linger and fill every corner of the tomb. Each repetition became softer, gentler, yet no less deliberate. The rhythm of the ceremony had become almost imperceptible, blending seamlessly with the faint rustle of robes, the delicate shimmer of amulets, and the subtle play of torchlight on the stone walls. Small gestures continued, but with increasing calm. Amulets were checked, linen smoothed, and hands rested lightly on the sarcophagi, ensuring that every detail reflected devotion and care. The priests allowed themselves to feel the chamber's rhythm, moving in harmony with the lingering energy of the ritual. The repetition of chants and gestures merged into a slow, meditative heartbeat that seemed to extend beyond the walls, connecting the living to the eternal stillness of the departed. Finally, the priests paused, letting the final syllables of the chants dissolve into silence. The chamber breathed quietly, filled only with the lingering fragrances of oils and incense. Torchlight flickered softly on the sarcophagi, reflecting faint glimmers from amulets and polished stone surfaces. The ritual had reached its conclusion, the sacred energy balanced, the space suffused with calm, and the departed fully prepared for their eternal journey. The tomb chamber was steeped in stillness, the air thick with the lingering fragrances of cedar, myrrh, and frankincense. The sarcophagi rested silently, fully wrapped and adorned with amulets, each body protected and blessed. The priests moved carefully, their robes whispering softly against the stone floor, as they prepared the space for the final stage, the closing of the tomb, a ritual of silence and preservation. The first task was to ensure that each sarcophagus was perfectly aligned. Priests moved slowly around the stone containers, hands gliding over the polished surfaces, adjusting their positions with deliberate care. Every motion was repeated, checked, and refined, each adjustment a quiet meditation in itself. Even the smallest gesture, the tilt of a lid, the smoothing of a linen fold, the placement of a protective amulet, was performed with patient precision, emphasizing the sacredness of the moment. Next, the chamber itself was prepared. Torches were adjusted to provide soft, even illumination, casting gentle golden light across the sarcophagi and walls carved with protective hieroglyphs. Incense burners were placed strategically, their curling smoke drifting slowly, creating a thin, fragrant veil that wrapped the space in calm. Each placement of an object was measured, repeated, and observed, ensuring that every detail contributed to the serene atmosphere. Soft, whispered prayers accompanied every action. The priest spoke slowly, elongating each syllable, letting the words linger in the cool stone air. These prayers were for protection, preservation, and eternal rest, guiding the energy of the chamber toward a state of perfect balance. The rhythm of speech intertwined with the motion of hands, the soft rustle of robes, and the gentle glow of torches, creating a hypnotic cadence that seemed to suspend time. Finally, the priests approached the sarcophagi to perform the last gestures of blessing. Hands rested lightly on the smooth stone surfaces, fingers tracing subtle patterns over the amulets and linen. Each movement was deliberate, repeated, and synchronized with the soft prayers and the curling incense smoke. The chamber seemed to breathe in unison with these actions, the gentle flicker of torchlight reflecting faint glimmers on amulets and polished stone, reinforcing the sacred calm. Once these preparations were complete, the priests paused to observe the chamber in silence. The sarcophagi stood aligned, the linen folds smooth, amulets secure, and incense smoke curling lazily through the air. The whispered prayers had faded, leaving a profound, meditative quiet. Every element of the ritual, scent, sound, motion, and light, merged into a hypnotic harmony, creating a space where the living honored the dead, and the departed rested in calm, eternal preservation. The tomb chamber lay in a soft, golden glow, the lingering fragrance of cedar, myrrh, and frankincense weaving through the air. The sarcophagi, carefully aligned and adorned with amulets, rested silently as the priests prepared for the final act, sealing the resting places of the departed. Every movement was deliberate, measured, and repeated with patient precision. The ritual demanded calm, reverence, and an awareness of eternity itself. The lids of the sarcophagi were lifted gently, one by one. Priests moved slowly, their hands gliding across the polished surfaces, ensuring no disturbance of the carefully arranged linen and amulets within. The lids were lowered with deliberate care, each adjusted to align perfectly, every edge checked and rechecked. The soft scrape of stone against stone was absorbed into the quiet rhythm of the chamber, a gentle echo that seemed to deepen the meditative atmosphere. As the final lids were set in place, priests performed subtle gestures of blessing. Fingers traced the air above the sarcophagi, gliding over amulets and linen folds without touching them directly. Each gesture was repeated softly, in time with whispered prayers that spoke of protection, guidance, and eternal rest. The words were drawn out, extended, and allowed to linger, merging with the faint flicker of torchlight and the slow curl of incense smoke. Next, the priests approached the tomb doors. The massive stone panels, carved with hieroglyphs and protective symbols, were slid slowly into place. The doors moved almost imperceptibly, the friction of stone against stone accompanied by the soft hum of the chamber's quiet energy. Every movement was repeated and checked, ensuring that the entrance was perfectly sealed, preserving the sacred stillness within. The act itself was a meditation, a final bow of respect, a gesture of care, a slow, deliberate closure that signaled both an ending and a continuation into eternity. Once the tomb doors were fully sealed, the priests withdrew slowly, leaving the chamber in profound silence. The flickering torchlight, the lingering fragrance of oils and incense, and the quiet energy of completed rituals combined to create an atmosphere of serene meditation. Every sound, every scent, and every subtle motion of the past hours had merged into a continuous rhythm, leaving the space still and timeless. The sarcophagi, the amulets, the folded linen, and the silent prayers remained, undisturbed, as the temple breathed with the memory of devotion. Time seemed to stretch, each moment lingering, as the chamber stood as a sanctuary of calm, patience, and reverence. The priest's work was complete, the sacred silence established, the tomb preserved, and the departed resting in eternal serenity. Outside the sealed tomb, the temple's corridors were quiet, bathed in the fading golden light of late afternoon. The priests moved slowly, their robes whispering softly against the stone floors, carrying the calm energy of the completed rituals within the tomb. The air was rich with lingering incense, cedar, and myrrh, wrapping around them as a reminder of the sacred work that had been accomplished. They paused briefly in the outer chamber, raising their hands in gentle gestures of blessing over the sealed tomb doors. Whispered prayers floated softly through the corridors, slow, elongated, and deliberate. These final blessings were for protection, eternal peace, and harmony, not only for the departed resting within but also for the temple itself, ensuring that the sacred rhythm established inside continued to resonate outward. Each word, each pause, was measured, allowing the sound to linger and echo faintly along the stone walls. The priests walked slowly through the temple halls, pausing at carved statues of gods and deities, tracing subtle patterns with their fingertips or lightly touching the surfaces as a gesture of reverence. Every motion was deliberate, repeated with gentle precision, blending seamlessly with the whispers of prayers and the quiet flicker of torches. The repetition of motion, sound, and scent created a meditative rhythm that lingered long after the priests had moved on. The temple itself seemed to breathe in response. The stone walls reflected the soft golden light, hieroglyphs glimmering faintly in torchlight, while incense smoke drifted upward, curling slowly in the warm air. The quiet atmosphere was almost tangible, a gentle, hypnotic stillness that mirrored the calm within the sealed tomb. Every corridor, every chamber, every artifact seemed to participate in the meditation, absorbing the rhythm of devotion and reflecting it back softly. Finally, the priests paused at the outermost courtyard, standing in silence for a moment of reflection. They inhaled deeply, letting the scents of oils and incense mingle with the warm air, feeling the weight and serenity of the sacred work they had completed. The repetitive motions, the soft whispers, the careful placement of amulets and linen, all of it had created a continuum of meditative calm, extending from the innermost tomb to the open spaces of the temple. As the final rays of sunlight faded, the temple returned fully to quiet. The flicker of torches dimmed, and the soft curl of incense smoke settled into stillness. The sarcophagi within the tomb remained perfectly aligned, the linen smooth and amulets secure, the chants and prayers leaving behind an invisible echo of calm. The entire space, chambers, corridors, and courtyards alike, had become a sanctuary of patient devotion, a rhythm of eternal meditation where time seemed suspended and the sacred stillness was complete. The tomb chamber lay in deep silence, the air thick with the lingering scent of oils, incense, and resins from the rituals that had been performed. Though the sarcophagi were sealed and the temple had returned to quiet, the work of the priests was not entirely complete. Guardians, both spiritual and ceremonial, remained in vigil, ensuring that the sacred space continued to protect the departed in a rhythm of silent devotion. Small figures of stone and bronze, carved in the likeness of gods and mythical protectors, watched over the sarcophagi from their niches in the walls. Each guardian was carefully positioned during the final rituals, a deliberate act meant to channel protection and preserve the sacred calm. The priest's hands had traced their placement slowly, repeatedly, ensuring symmetry and alignment, creating a subtle, hypnotic pattern that extended through the entire chamber. Human guardians, too, remained present, a few priests assigned to the slow, measured rotation of the watch. They moved quietly, almost imperceptibly, pacing the outer chambers, their robes whispering softly against the stone floors. Their eyes followed the faint flicker of torchlight, observing the sarcophagi, the amulets, and the curling incense smoke, ensuring that no disturbance disrupted the meditative stillness. Each step, each gesture, each whispered breath was deliberate, repeated, and synchronized with the rhythm of the sacred space. The silence was punctuated only by soft, occasional prayers whispered under breath, long, drawn-out phrases that resonated gently within the stone walls. Every syllable lingered, forming a continuous hum of devotion that intertwined with the subtle scent of resins and oils. This extended meditation served both to protect the sarcophagi and to deepen the chamber's hypnotic calm, allowing the departed to rest undisturbed, enveloped in quiet energy and sacred rhythm. Even the ambient details of the chamber, the flicker of torchlight, the subtle glimmer of amulets, the gentle rise and fall of incense smoke, contributed to the meditative atmosphere. The repetition of gestures, the continuous vigilance, and the quiet hum of devotion created a seamless blend of motion, sound, and scent. Time seemed to stretch indefinitely, each moment lingering, as the guardians maintained the eternal watch. The sarcophagi themselves seemed to absorb the quiet energy, reflecting torchlight softly from their polished surfaces and a glimmer of amulets. Shadows danced slowly across the walls, creating an almost living presence within the chamber, as if the silent guardians were in dialogue with the carvings of gods and hieroglyphs. The careful placement of each object, repeated gestures of reverence, and continuous meditation maintained a rhythm that was both hypnotic and protective. The tomb remained steeped in quiet, its air filled with the lingering aroma of resins, oils, and incense. Even though the sarcophagi were sealed and the major rituals completed, the guardians maintained a careful presence, moving with deliberate slowness through the chambers. Their daily routine was not hurried, each action was repeated, measured, and infused with reverence, creating a continuous, hypnotic rhythm of protection. Each day began with the slow lighting of torches, their soft flicker casting golden, dancing shadows across the stone walls. The guardians walked among the sarcophagi, pausing to smooth linen folds that had settled, checking amulets for alignment, and ensuring that the sacred space remained undisturbed. Every gesture was deliberate, repeated gently, and synchronized with the quiet breathing of the chamber itself. Even the faintest adjustment of a cloth or the smallest touch on an amulet became part of the rhythm of devotion. Soft prayers were whispered, each syllable drawn out, allowed to resonate fully within the stone walls. These phrases, repeated multiple times, infused the chamber with a subtle, protective energy. The guardians' voices blended with the gentle rustle of robes and the curling smoke from incense, forming a meditative cadence that stretched time and deepened the stillness. The repetition, the ritualized gestures, and the sound of prayer became a seamless cycle of quiet devotion, echoing faintly through the tomb. Small acts of maintenance, polishing stone surfaces, adjusting light from torches, repositioning incense burners, were performed slowly and deliberately. The guardians moved in harmony with the sacred rhythm established by the priests, each motion extending the hypnotic calm of the chamber. Even the shadows, flickering and shifting with torchlight, seemed to participate in the meditation, stretching and flowing with the movement of the guardians. The sarcophagi themselves remained central to the rhythm. Each guardian paused to observe the sealed bodies, feeling the protective energy of the amulets, the smooth texture of the linen, and the sacred arrangement of the space. Fingers lightly traced the air above amulets or along the edges of the sarcophagi in a soft, repeated pattern, contributing to the slow, hypnotic cadence of the day. The chamber, though silent to outsiders, was alive with a quiet, meditative energy, each action part of a long, deliberate cycle of care. As the sun sank beyond the horizon, the tomb chamber was gradually enveloped in shadow. The warm golden light of day faded, replaced by the soft, flickering glow of torches. The guardians took their positions, their movements slow and deliberate, maintaining the sacred rhythm of vigilance through the long hours of the night. Each step, each gesture, each whispered prayer was repeated with careful precision, creating a hypnotic cadence that carried the calm energy of the temple into darkness. The shadows cast by torchlight stretched and danced across the walls, hieroglyphs seeming to come alive in the flickering glow. Stone statues of gods and mythical guardians appeared to watch silently, their forms merging with the shadows, enhancing the chamber's protective presence. The guardians moved gently among the sarcophagi, adjusting amulets and smoothing linen folds with measured care, each action part of the continuous nocturnal ritual. Soft chants, whispered in low, elongated tones, rose and fell in the chamber, blending with the faint crackle of the torches and the curling incense smoke. Each repetition, each drawn-out syllable, was allowed to resonate fully, creating a subtle, almost tangible hum that filled the room. The continuous layering of sound, motion, and scent created a hypnotic environment, slowing time and drawing the living and the departed into a shared rhythm of serene meditation. The guardian's hands moved slowly, tracing gentle patterns in the air above amulets or along the edges of sarcophagi, ensuring alignment and reinforcing the protective energy of the chamber. The repetition of these small gestures, in harmony with the soft chants and the flickering torchlight, created a seamless rhythm of devotion. Even the curling smoke from incense burners participated, swirling in deliberate spirals that reflected the calm, hypnotic flow of the ritual. As the night deepened, the chamber seemed to expand, the shadows stretching farther and merging with the quiet energy of the sarcophagi and the stone guardians. The guardians moved almost imperceptibly, their presence felt more than seen, a silent rhythm of protection that maintained the sacred stillness. Each breath, each whispered word, each delicate gesture added to the unbroken continuity of vigilance. By the middle of the night, the tomb had become a sanctuary of pure, meditative calm. The sarcophagi rested undisturbed, the amulets glimmered softly in torchlight, and the guardians' movements blended with the whispers of incense and prayer into an invisible rhythm. Time seemed suspended, the chamber itself breathed with the quiet energy of eternal protection. The nocturnal vigil was not merely watchfulness, it was an unending meditation, a hypnotic continuity that honored the sacred space and its eternal inhabitants. The tomb and its temple had settled into a profound, almost eternal stillness. Days and nights passed in slow rhythm, yet the chamber remained unchanged, preserved by the careful work of priests and the silent guardians. The sarcophagi rested undisturbed, wrapped in linen, adorned with amulets, and scented with oils that lingered in delicate traces. The quiet of the temple was not empty, it was a rich, meditative silence that held the weight of devotion, ritual, and eternity itself. The stone walls, carved with hieroglyphs and sacred images, reflected the faint flicker of torchlight in soft glimmers. Even in the absence of movement, the chamber felt alive, a space suspended between the temporal and the eternal. The carefully aligned sarcophagi, the protective amulets, the subtle spirals of incense smoke, and the lingering echoes of whispered prayers combined to create a hypnotic rhythm that extended far beyond the visible space. Every detail, repeated and reinforced through the rituals of the priests, contributed to the lasting preservation of the sacred calm. Outside the sealed tomb, the temple's corridors remained quiet, bathed in the soft light of dawn and dusk. The guardians continued their silent vigil, moving with deliberate slowness, hands brushing lightly over surfaces, adjusting incense, and ensuring that every amulet and sarcophagus remained in perfect alignment. Each gesture, each motion, each quiet breath contributed to the continuity of protection. Even the smallest action, repeated day after day, became part of the meditative pulse of the temple, an unbroken rhythm that honored the eternal rest of the departed. The subtle scents of cedar, frankincense, myrrh, and oils hung in the air, a gentle reminder of the sacred work that had been performed. These fragrances intertwined with the quiet flicker of torchlight, the muted glimmer of amulets, and the gentle shadows cast across the walls. Time seemed suspended in this combination of motion, sound, scent, and light. The temple had become more than a resting place, it was a sanctuary where eternity was carefully woven into every stone, every fold of linen, every whispered prayer, and every flickering flame. The sarcophagi, silent and still, reflected the meditative devotion of the priests. The amulets glimmered faintly, catching the soft light, their presence a subtle protection that extended outward into the chamber. The guardians moved gently among them, ensuring balance and harmony, maintaining the sacred rhythm that had been established over weeks of meticulous ritual. The space exuded calm, a hypnotic serenity that could be felt in every corner, every shadow, every lingering trace of incense. The temple and tomb remained in quiet harmony, the sarcophagi resting undisturbed beneath the soft glow of torchlight. Time moved differently here, it was stretched, slowed, as if each moment lingered longer than it did outside. The guardians continued their silent patrol, hands moving slowly over amulets and linen, maintaining the delicate balance of the sacred space. Every gesture, repeated with measured care, reinforced the rhythm of protection and meditation. The air carried the lingering fragrance of oils and incense, subtle yet persistent. Cedar, myrrh, and frankincense intertwined in a gentle, hypnotic swirl, moving with the guardians as they walked. Their slow footsteps, the faint rustle of robes, and the soft murmur of repeated prayers formed a continuous, soothing cadence, echoing against the stone walls. Each sound, each motion, each breath contributed to the meditative pulse of the tomb, weaving a rhythm that could last indefinitely. Even in the deepest silence, the temple seemed alive. Shadows stretched and shifted with the flickering torchlight, hieroglyphs glimmered faintly, and the polished surfaces of sarcophagi reflected a calm glow. The repetition of the guardians' movements, the lingering incense, and the occasional soft whisper of prayer created a flow that seemed to extend through time itself. It was a space suspended between the temporal and eternal, where every small act of care became part of a larger, unbroken rhythm. The sarcophagi glimmered faintly in the subdued light, amulets casting tiny reflections that shifted slowly across the stone surfaces. Guardians paused occasionally, hands lightly tracing the air above sacred charms, performing gestures of reverence and protection. Each motion was repeated multiple times, precise and deliberate, reinforcing the continuous meditation that kept the tomb in balance. The quiet repetition, the soft smells, and the gentle interplay of light and shadow created a hypnotic environment where eternity could be contemplated in stillness. As the day passed into night and night returned to day, the temple maintained its seamless rhythm. Guardians' soft whispers and movements, the curl of incense smoke, and the warm flicker of torchlight were joined by the silent presence of stone statues and carved hieroglyphs. Every object, every shadow, and every scent contributed to a flow of calm devotion, ensuring that the sacred rhythm was unbroken. The temple itself seemed to breathe gently, a living sanctuary of quiet, hypnotic energy where the sacred was preserved without interruption. The tomb and temple had become a sanctuary beyond time. The sarcophagi lay in perfect alignment, wrapped in linen, adorned with amulets, and surrounded by the lingering scents of oils, incense, and resins. The guardians' movements were slow, almost imperceptible, their gestures repeated with gentle precision, maintaining the rhythm of protection that had been established from the first day. Each breath, each subtle adjustment, each whispered prayer contributed to the unbroken meditation that filled the chamber. Torchlight flickered softly against stone walls, casting warm golden shadows that danced across the hieroglyphs and statues of gods. The shadows moved in harmony with the guardians, their silent, deliberate pacing creating a seamless flow of calm. The sarcophagi glimmered faintly, the polished surfaces reflecting the gentle light, the amulets catching the flickers and sending tiny sparks of radiance across the chamber. Even in this quiet, the temple felt alive, alive with devotion, protection, and the hypnotic energy of eternity. The curling smoke from incense rose slowly, twisting in delicate spirals, its fragrance filling every corner of the tomb. It mingled with the soft sounds of breathing, the faint rustle of robes, and the quiet whisper of prayers, creating a multi-sensory rhythm that seemed to suspend time itself. Every repetition of motion and sound reinforced the sacred stillness, ensuring that the tomb remained a perfect sanctuary where the living and the departed shared a silent, eternal connection. Outside the sarcophagi, the guardians moved with deliberate care. Hands traced the air above amulets, linen folds were lightly smoothed, and torches were adjusted to maintain a balanced glow. Each gesture was repeated softly, in harmony with the faint chants that had been whispered for weeks, extending the hypnotic rhythm throughout the entire temple. Every object, every shadow, every trace of scent contributed to a timeless pattern of devotion. As night passed to day, and day returned to night, the temple's rhythm remained unbroken. The sarcophagi were undisturbed, the amulets glimmered faintly, and the guardian's silent vigilance ensured the sacred calm continued without interruption. The temple itself seemed to breathe slowly, as if every stone, every carving, every flicker of torchlight, and every whisper of prayer was part of a living organism. This was a place where eternity was carefully preserved, a space where time had a different rhythm, one measured in patience, repetition, and reverence. Finally, the guardians paused, standing in gentle reflection at the edge of the tomb chamber. The sarcophagi, the incense, the torchlight, the protective amulets, all elements merged into a seamless sanctuary of quiet meditation. The chamber had become a timeless space, a bridge between the living and the eternal, where devotion, care, and ritual maintained the sacred rhythm indefinitely.